So, guys, I've been hyping this one up for like God knows how long, talking about it, and now we're getting to it. This will be part one of a two-part video, or maybe more parts, because true comp Burning Godzilla is more complex than the other forms, because he is just interesting in his own way. So I'll be going over and analyzing and scaling true comp Burning Godzilla. So, let's start with the clips. His transformation alone was able to shake reality, all of reality. That means the Vengeance verse, the OC Battle Royale verse, anything that's connected to GXI and can the GXI verse. It shook it all, and it was disrupting everything, causing things to be unstable. Other characters who weren't on the level of the characters right now would have just died from the explosion. It was a very devastating transformation. Like, very devastating. Now, his appearance. Although it looks darker, he's actually, in the picture I put on my community poll, he's actually much brighter. He glows all the time. He's constantly glowing. And his body would always put off like a slight glow, but I guess it's in this because the way it prints out, it doesn't. But though he looks taller, it's just because the paper was printed out different. He still has the same height and metrics. Now, he and the Omniversal guy got teleported. He tanked when the Omniversal guy's beams. Remember, the Omniversal guy isn't really trying right now. He just sees this as another fight. Godzilla just tanks it. The Omniversal guy does a pulse that destroys all of reality, totality, or total destruction, destroying basically everything. So that's a big problem. And Godzilla tanks it. They both tank it. This is like light work for them. It doesn't really bother them at all. None of this stuff does. At all. So, basically, now this is where the interesting part happens. Godzilla is able to easily overpower the Omniversal God's true form, hit him with Atomic Stomp, and with one beam, which is at 0% of its power. Now, True Comp Godzilla has this pretty cool uh, gimmick. Every time he fires a beam, just like how Burning Godzilla does it, he gets infinitely and immeasurably stronger. But if I would have added more to this, but I didn't have a lot of time to finish the film, it would have been longer. But each beam he fires goes through a different era of Godzilla, and also he can when we see him again, it can also go through fan made Godzilla's atomic breath. So like right now, through the 1954, it went all the way up to the newest Godzilla 2024. I forgot to put -1 in there and some other Godzillas, but it does go through every era of Godzilla. The beams that he's firing out, the first beam, would be able to basically one-shot everyone else in the entire like series. I'm talking about Hell Godzilla, Vengeance Godzilla, any other character not the Omniversal God's true form. It will one-shot everyone. Even Thermal Blackzilla in Hell Beast or Hellbat, what's his name? Hellbat, Hell Goji. Godzilla is just able to casually walk through Omniversal God beams, which before were able to push him back, make him bleed, knock him over, and basically just knock him around. Godzilla's punch alone is able to absorb the beam, and his newer atomic breath that just got infinitely and immeasurably much stronger is able to knock over the Omniversal God. They're easily able to throw him, so he doesn't need the help of his atomic breath to help him suplex on. He can just throw him. So Godzilla has just gotten so much stronger. Now we have a stalemate, a beam stalemate. The Omniversal God at this point isn't taking this as a game. He's not going at 0% anymore, he's going at least at 40%. His beam is stalemated by Godzilla's atomic breath. which easily overpowers it. Now this is where the Omniverse God starts getting damaged. Even though Godzilla is using 0% of his power, just not using any at all, the Omniverse God starts taking damage. And this is heavy damage to his face. At this point, now the Omniversal God is using 60% of its full power. As you see, the red beam is the most powerful beam out of this right now. And Godzilla's insane durability in his final form just walks through it. And also, to make this clear, he does have a force field. He just doesn't use it in his true form. He doesn't need to use it just because of how powerful he is right now. He honestly, all the attacks the Omniversal God throws do absolutely nothing to him. And let me just get to that power. Just like how Thermal Godzilla has and Thermal Mazzilla, he's completely invulnerable to all damage. Basically, he's also invulnerable to reality bending. He's immune to reality bending, any warping, anything that falls under reality bending. He's immune to any type of physical attacks or mental or any attacks. He's completely immune to all damage in this form. Kind of like his thermal form, but it's way better. He also does have the force field too, but what else does he have? Well, he also has the immunity to reality warpers. So basically, you can't just drain his power. That is the one thing that he had trouble with before. Other characters draining his power. Vengeance Godzilla. The Omniversal God. Yeah, even Voidzilla did this. Like, maybe a couple of times. Yeah, Voidzilla did suck out some of his power. But again, this guy has finally found the immunity to all of these attacks. So, now, Godzilla has, if you even, yes, you could try to absorb his power, and it could heal you, but you're not getting on his level. It doesn't do anything. You could even amp yourself as much as you want, but you're not going to get to his level. Even when he's at 0% of his power, just not using any, you're not going to be able to even surpass that level of power. No character currently can do that. But, you just have to watch. And he comes back to the omnidirectional pulse, or the directional pulse. This was a directional pulse, which he pulsed in one direction. This is a very powerful version of the thermonuclear pulse or burning pulse. It's literally able to cripple the Omniversal God. Kind of like in 2019, when we saw Godzilla fire it. It's kind of like Ghidorah firing his gravity beams and Godzilla just blowing up the pulse. Look at it. It destroys part of the tentacles and wings of the Omniversal God, melting him. And he uses his next blast of atomic breath, which again, each pulse, every time he fires an atomic breath or pulse, they each get infinitely and immeasurably stronger, and that also adds on to his physical attacks too. With one beam, he's able to slice right through the Omniversal God's tail. The Omniversal God tries to stab Godzilla, but he's able, with his insane reaction speed and speed in general, is able to react fast enough to grab it. Godzilla's beam is instantly able to incinerate the piece of the tail. Godzilla is just physically overwhelming the Omniversal God and drop kicks his face. At this point, a single drop kick. If Godzilla did another drop kick, he could probably blow the Omniversal God's head right off. With another immeasurably more powerful beam, he completely cripples the Omniversal God. Bro is at the point of dying. There's really nothing he can do in this fight. It's like he's already lost, but he's trying to delay the inevitable. And at this point, the fact I want to give you, Godzilla, like what the Omniversal God was doing the entire series, or the entire time he's been shown, Godzilla's just playing. He doesn't care. He don't care if the Omniversal God dies, or if he, like, somehow doesn't die. He's just playing with him. My guy is literally just playing with him. The whole battle, Godzilla is just playing with the Omniversal God. So this shows just how much more powerful Godzilla is. He's strong enough, and even without using any of his powers, just able to play with his victims, treat them like a toy. Like, he sees this as a game. And the Omniversal God does reality warping, and tried to steal his power. Kind of like how Vengeance Godzilla was kind of passively uh, using Godzilla's infinite energy to make himself stronger. The Omniversal God does is a true comp burning Godzilla, which sends off a massive pulse. This heals the Omniversal God and gives him an immeasurable amp. This amp makes him infinitely and immeasurably more powerful than before. So now he's at 100% of his strength plus this amp. He's finally able to pick up Godzilla, which he wasn't able to do, and he throws him with a beam that does absolutely nothing. This amp beam, which would literally one-shot the entire verse, which could literally destroy all of reality by itself with just a second of exposure. Godzilla is able to easily tank this. And remember, Godzilla's not even trying at this point. This fight is like Godzilla, he's not trying. So that's pretty interesting. Also, you see him loading up the atomic breath that just got immeasurably stronger. And Godzilla does have a flashback for some reason. Now, this is an important part. The Omniverse of God summons the power of all of reality that he's destroyed, and all of reality in general, times infinity and an immeasurable amount of multipliers, and also times his full power. So this is his full power right here. Godzilla fires a beam, and this amp state is able to tank a true comp beam. And it just got immeasurably more powerful. But it's still not going to matter. One of these beams, again, melts the Universal God. So this beam now that just got immeasurably more powerful melts through the Universal God. Now the Universal God decides to fire a Spirit Bomb. Because those work, he just gets one of his eyes destroyed. Now this sort of fight gets kind of nasty. The Universal God, even at full power, plus the amps that he put on himself, and the Spirit Bomb, he's not able to do anything. And this big old Spirit Bomb, the Universal God still can't do anything. Godzilla is loading up another beam. And though you don't really see this much, he kind of beam spams, he can physically fight. If Godzilla wanted to, he could just tear the Universal God apart with his own limbs, with no effort. One of his tail slashes, the Universal God's head could divorce the head from his body or just cut him in half in general. You see how this beam got immeasurably more powerful? And you also get a clear look at him. He carries on his evolved look with the pink and then the look of other Godzilla. So basically all the other colors are basically atomic breath and loading colors of other Godzilla. So he takes off of every single Godzilla. And that's why it's called true composite burning Godzilla, not composite burning Godzilla's burning form, but GXI's form. This form takes in the atomic power of every Godzilla. So that includes every single Godzilla in existence power, plus Composite Godzilla, and every other fan-made Godzilla. So basically any Godzilla that exists or that will ever exist is added to this power. And also times his own power, which was already higher than basically everyone else's. So that means you have an insanely powerful Godzilla. And with all his insane multipliers, he's at this point like untouchable. And the Spirit Ball that the guy Omniverse guy is throwing right now, you'll see in a second, is going at immeasurable speed. He was throwing it already, but now he's throwing it faster. But Godzilla's reacting to it. He doesn't care, even though the thing got thrown at him. Now the reason why the Omniverse guy got injured really badly, like he about to die, well, he was already crippled. This just pushed him even further. If it was anyone else fighting him, he could just regenerate from it like instantly. Godzilla is so fast in this that the instant regen of the Omniverse God's not even able to work properly. Then you get a really cool death state. Godzilla holds up the Omniverse God and does the kiss of death for the second time since Godzilla X the Imposter. Welcome to Hell. You actually see what percentage of power he's using, I believe. Does it show it? Yeah, it says 0% of his power if you missed it. and the beam absolutely incinerates the Omniversal God right in the mouth, leaving nothing. Even though the Omniversal God, you can't actually kill him. He just died. Godzilla just wipes him away. Like, bro is gone. He's not coming back. Like, actually. But yeah. So, the Omniversal guy learned his lesson. Never Fodderize GXI Godzilla. That's a horrible idea, because you're gonna piss little bro off. Yeah. So, missing out GXI Godzilla was a really bad idea. Even though the Omniversal guy was kind of like clapping GXI Goji streaks the entire episode. This is when GXI Godzilla kind of got serious. And also, when I make the other parts of GXI Godzilla, I will make something that shows that Godzilla has had this power the whole time. This is not like a new amp he randomly gets when someone dies. He can tap into this form whenever he wanted. The only reason why he tapped into it when the imposter died is because of all the unmeasurable around rage he was feeling. But he's had this form in him the entire time. We saw it before. Hmm? I mean, the infinite spiral heat ray phases was just him gearing himself up to be ready to fire off these beams, to be ready to actually use the attack form. So Godzilla has always had this inside of him. No pause, no diddy. But yeah, let's also see what Godzilla is able to do. With a measurably stronger atomic breath, Godzilla is able. Ah, shoot! Pinched myself. That hurt. Godzilla is able to bring to reverse do totality destruction, but instead of destroying, he creates stuff. If he also wanted to do totality destruction, he easily could have done that with a simple step. Godzilla brings back everyone. Now the note. Godzilla has a weirder new form. This is his permanent form. Since it's permanent, Godzilla is able to switch back into his old evolved form, which was a semi-permanent form, or a mid-transformation, and his old pre-evolved form at will. Now he can control these forms at will, so it's not just going to be like stuck. But we have to address some stuff now. Now, all these forms, every single form, pre-evolved, evolved, his new evolved form, the true comp burning, and all his other amps that he goes into have gotten immeasurably and infinitely more powerful. So that means all his other forms now and his new base form is even more powerful than true comp Godzilla right now. Yes, if this Godzilla fought true comp Godzilla, the new base form Godzilla, or any base form Godzilla after true comp Godzilla fodderized the Omniversal God, any of those forms could easily beat him. So that's the thing. That's what makes true comp Godzilla so good. Unlike Thermal's massive or any other Godzillas or other characters' biggest problems after they go into a super form, they might be exhausted and uh messed up. But this guy, even if you somehow outlast his god form, somehow outlast true comp Godzilla or survive, and you have enough strength and enough stamina to fight him, you won't even be able to lay a touch on. You won't even lay a scratch on him because all his other forms will be so much more stronger than true comp, and all his other forms will just be immeasurably more stronger than true comp. And his true comp form will get immeasurably stronger too, and infinitely stronger too. So it's just like he gets so much more powerful now. And if you put him in, he's gonna get through any tiering list. He can definitely, easily, he doesn't even have to be in. And true comp form or some of his other powerful forms, he can easily clear a tiering list of power or scaling. I don't see him stopping. That's what we have to go over. So, I'll go into better stuff tomorrow, or actually the day after that. I'll talk more about this True Comp Goji, because, well, we all love him, I think, right? Do we love him? Yeah, I think we love him. True Comp Godzilla, this form has actually been, like, drawn, like, a very long time ago. I made this form, like, during spring break, actually, before spring break. I forgot when. But maybe, like early March. And it's always been my intent to make the form like this, but if I had more time of filming, I'd definitely added more atomic breaths or added more for the form to do. This isn't the last you'll see of True Comp Godzilla. This is only the beginning of his scaling. Right now, this is like the tip of the iceberg. He's still getting much stronger, and I'm still gonna bring out some statements for him. But for now, that's all we have. And also, speaking of forms, I was actually some a viewer asked a long time ago about all the power coming out of Red Spiral Ray Godzilla's chest. Maybe I can find the video. This was actually a pretty long time ago. I don't know how long ago this was, but this was pretty long. And my internet decides to not want to work with me. Geez, we have a lot of videos on here. Oh, now Fortnite decides to work. Wow. Thanks a lot, Fortnite. It took you long enough, buddy. Uh, if I can find it, it's in here. See, that's a composite infinite spiral heat ray that I was talking about. And these are his sound effects, so if anyone wants them, you can use them on here. They're free to use. I have no care if you use any of them. Where is the red spiral ray? But I made some. If it's not in here, then like womp womp. I have to deal with that later. But I did, yeah. I have more than one comment this time. Maybe it was not in this one. Yeah, I don't think it was in this one before. Yeah, it was definitely not here. It was a different video. But someone asked about the energy in his chest, and I just want to clarify. I was going to give him the ability to fire off atomic beams from his chest. I just forgot to do that. So, yes. To say this is canon, yes, he can fire beams through his chest. He can. I was actually going to have a thing where Godzilla gets severely damaged by the Omniversal God, and he beams right through him and destroys his chest. And whenever Godzilla tries to fire his beam, it kind of be like a GMK, what you call reference. That whenever Godzilla tries to fire his beam, instead of going out his mouth, it'd go out somewhere like his chest, unlike in GMK where it would go out his neck. And the beam would go out his chest, and Godzilla would then use that to beat the Omniversal God, or like to really damage him. But if since Godzilla, you saw in the Infinite Spiral Heat Ray phases and any of his more powerful forms, you see his chest glow with a lot of energy, and that's also seen a lot in his true comp form. Uh, you can just clearly see that if anyone was able to stab right through his force field or stab through his chest, he would fire a beam through there, and also that would really mess up with his internal reactor. And kind of mess up on his power in general. It wouldn't kill him. It'd just be like annoying. He'll heal it off later. He can choose to heal it off or use this as a good way to fire out a lot of excess power. But it just disrupts his atomic breath for a minute. It's not really a weakness, but it's kind of like, yeah, if you can even get past it. True Form Omniversal God could get past could stab through his chest, but it's very unlikely if he's not able to get through the force field. Pretty unlikely. But I will probably talk about True Comp, what's his name? Sorry. I'll talk about True Comp burning later tomorrow, maybe, or the day after, maybe 4th of July. I'm not sure. Just note, this is not the last you'll see of him. This is not the last we'll see of True Comp Godzilla. I will talk about them again later. And I wish I could. Yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's that. See you in the next one, and I hope you like the true Comp Godzilla scale. Peace.